Reddit by Reddit recap. What did a friend of yours do that turned you on without them knowing it? 15 years ago my friend at uni invited some of us over to watch him play Resident Evil 4 that had just been released on the GameCube and later watch a film. Knocked on his door. He answered and I got the strangest lady boner. He had picked up his new glasses and had a haircut when he picked up the game in town. Something about his new look stirred something inside me. Started dating 4 years later and were getting married next year. He was giving a talk in front of a bunch of people and he was so confident and intelligent and everyone was just so engaged with what he was saying. I legitimately wanted to just test his dong right there. Watching him own that room was so ducking hot. I lost a bet and he arched one of his eyebrows and gave me that smirk as he advanced towards me while unbuttoning his sleeves and rolling them up saying, "What should I make you do for losing? Once a friend saved my tipsy ass from being flattened by an oncoming vehicle. He wrapped one arm around my waist and pulled me backwards into him. I don't know if it was the unexpected physical contact or the alcohol or what, but I could not stop thinking about my weird new inappropriate crush 4 weeks after. Had a friend, in college that I was pretty close with. We had a lot of overlap in our classes. We were from the same city so occasionally drove back home together. Our college was 4 hours away, etc. We got along very well, but most of our interaction was class homework related rather than social stuff, so I never really thought about her in a romantic context. She was one of those stay in and study on Friday Saturday nights underclassmen, and I was going out and getting loaded every weekend. One day in the computer lab, she came up behind me and put her hands on my shoulders and asked me a perfectly normal question about what I was working on. There was just something about the physical touch, the fact that I was distracted, her scent, the fact that we were close friends. I jumped like someone had hit me with a cattle prod. It dawned on me that this is someone I should be trying to date instead of going out and getting wasted at yet another kegger. Unfortunately, she was dating someone at the time. I was nowhere near forward enough to try and break someone up, and I didn't want to risk our friendship, so nothing ever happened. She was in one relationship or another for the rest of college, and ended up marrying the guy she dated our senior year. A friend of mine asked me to hang out with her in her dorm room. We were planning on watching a movie, but at the same time she said she was going to do some laundry. I told her I had no issue helping her with, that is, carrying the actual laundry bag. I knew she was kind of taking advantage of me, but she also made killer nachos, so it seemed like a fair trade. When I got there she was essentially wearing sleepwear, a tank top, half shirt and very tight red running shorts. It was very difficult to pay attention to movie. She was singing as part of a play for an arts program I was participating in. I had just met her a few weeks before that performance, and was dating someone at the time, but my heart stopped for a second when I heard her. I didn't get to really talk to her for a few years after that, but always kept how that felt in mind. A year and a half ago I shot my shot and we've been dating since. Not exactly turned on, but absolutely taken by her. I was wrestling with a girl, not fake wrestling. Both of us were actually trying to win and we were in a ring, who I wasn't really interested in. When she had me in a hold that I wasn't able to get out of, I got a small chub. I was wearing a jacket that was unzipped. She put her arms inside my jacket to hug me goodbye. Felt weird for some reason, even though it was outside the shirt I was wearing. My friend and I work at a lab at our college. I never really thought anything of her until she one day shows up wearing a super tight shirt that showed off her boobs very, very well. It was very hard to keep eye contact with her that day. I then told my boyfriend that I now understand how boobs can be distracting, lol. A college housemate was on the couch next to me as we watched TV one night. She mentioned a concert that was coming up and asked if I was down to go. I wasn't too keen, so I turned and have her a blank stare. She held my gaze and moved her eyebrows up and down twice quickly. The effect was devastating. I don't know if it counts as turned on or a moment of deep infatuation, but I still think about those goddamn eyebrows. The restaurant I used to work at had a vacuum we could use that was shaped as a big red box that you could strap to your back like a backpack. It definitely looked straight out of Ghostbusters. My very cute co-worker was using it, and when I jokingly asked if she was having fun, she responded with "who you gonna call?" Wink. This was almost 10 years ago. She asked me to practice lines with her for a play she was in. In one scene she was being bossed around by her husband. Do this, do that, wear this when you are doing it. And that was how I found out I was a dom. I told her when she asked me a second time though. She was a close friend, and we had a good talk about it. She helped me figure out what was going on. We did actually hook up a few times, but it was 10 years after this took place. We are still great friends. She was meant to go out but ended up sitting with me chatting. She was all dressed up, and because of the way she was sitting her dress kept sliding up her thigh. She fixed it twice but stopped trying. Her thigh wasn't totally exposed but a bit more was showing off. That's how I realized I have a thing for legs. A good friend and I were once drunk and tired, so we came up with the idea of taking turns slapping each other in the face. So that was a weird boner. Pretty obvious thing, but my guy best friend tickled me while I was wearing a tank top when we were like 14 and my boobs almost popped out, and I saw in his face that he was turned on, and I felt the same, but we both quickly stopped and never spoke of it. We dated for 4 years in our 20s though. I was on voice chat with a gaming friend I'd never had any particular attraction to. It was getting late, and I commented that I needed to go to bed soon. She told me to, but I laughed it off and said I probably wouldn't for at least another hour. In a slow, southern drawl, she replied, "I'm not asking you, baby doll. I'm telling you. I've never gotten aroused faster in my life." I had to mute the call for a minute and assess what the duck just happened. I was working as an intern, and I became friends with my project lead since we had good banter and the whole situation was pretty lax. One time most of the group was just chatting about something while I was leaning over a cubicle wall. And he was a larger guy, so when he had to sidle behind me he pretty much pushed me up against the cubicle wall with his crotch against my butt area for like 0.5 seconds. It triggered a memory, and I've never gone from completely unhorny to turned on ashamed so quickly. I have an attractive female friend who I was visiting. We were sitting in her kitchen and she got up to get a Coke from her refrigerator. She was wearing short shorts, and as she bent over to get the soda she asked me if I wanted anything. It took me a few seconds but I managed to say no. I lied. Long, affectionate hugs. An attractive female friend of mine gave me a hug that lasted around 30 seconds and she was squeezing me the entire time. Halfway into the hug, I popped an unexpected boner that I'm pretty sure poked her thigh. I don't think she noticed, and if she did, she never said anything about it. She got startled and jumped onto me. Not like full on, she was in my arms, but we were standing next to each other. Something went bang, and she just turned and grabbed me. Instant boner. I remember back in high school I had this crush on my friend and he came over for some reason or another. As soon as he entered my room he kind of just flopped himself back to lay down on my bed and stretched out lazily. I went bright red and couldn't focus on anything. It's been a long time since I've felt that way about anyone. No matter the person, anyone whispering in my ear turns me on. It doesn't even matter what they say. Was in a group of friends talking and one girl mentioned she had just got a nipple ring. At that moment someone in the kitchen mentioned the food was ready and everyone except her and I got up and ran to get fed. I started getting up and I heard her say, "What do you think?" When I looked up she had her shirt and bra lifted to her shoulder to show off her new jewelry and she had crinkled up her nose and had this devious little smile. Nothing sexual had ever transpired between us previously, so this caught me off guard. But it wasn't even that really got me. It was when someone came back in the room just a second after I said wow and asked me what I was talking about. While my friend from the kitchen was looking at me, she smiled and held her finger up to her lips in the universal shmotion like it was a sexy secret just between her and I. Just melted me. Was grabbing my arm to show me something. then ran her hand up and down it in surprise because I was getting a little buff and she felt the new muscles. I sat beside a girl in school, really attractive with a nice body. She always leaned backwards over her chair to stretch and crack her back. So when she did it she let out that you sigh and a little moan. You duck concentrating for the rest of the lesson. I blame her for being bad in school. Was friends with a high school crush. We had a class together and would occasionally have chill days. I was sitting in front of her and turned my desk 90 degrees so I could comfortably talk to her. She then picked her legs up and put them across mine. Best comment of the day. When I was in my senior year of high school, I was watching a choir performance during Arts Week. Before I get too far in, I should tell you that for some reason, I don't like anyone singing around me, especially girls, because it just made me awkward. Anyways, my friend had a solo song that she sang. She was the only person that I loved hearing sing. She had the voice of an angel. During her performance, she started to sing. I got the chills. She was pitch perfect. Absolutely beautiful. I was almost in tears. That's when I realized I had feelings for her. I was infatuated with her. She has an amazing body, great personality, great voice, great everything. I could not keep my eyes off her. Finally, after being overwhelmed from these feelings I had for about a week after her performance, I started thinking about asking her out. I was scared to because we were really good friends. I knew she was single, but I didn't want to lose a good friendship. So I decided to tell her. The way I told her suggested that I was really just telling her, and if she liked me back, then we could do something. If not, fine. She said that she had a crush on someone else, and that we should stay as friends. It hurt, but I dealt with it. I eventually found out who she liked, and helped her get with him, and they have been together since. Her and I are still great friends. We talk almost every day. The feelings have only slightly gone away. But I stay mature and be a good friend. So yeah, that's my story.